My name is Chad Prince. I'm the practice administrator at Anniston Orthopaedics. We have 7 orthopedic surgeons, 40 employees. I am responsible for everything under the roof. We are large enough to have lots of complexities, but we're small enough that we don't have a lot of administrative support. I've got a very good team, but I'm responsible for the staff, the finances. I'm responsible for the technology and for our networks and computers. So there's a lot that I'm managing, and having the solutions team has been fantastic because they can take care of a lot of our IT calls, and it's freed up a lot of time for me to focus on actually running the business. Well, everything that physicians do now is recorded electronically. So if we don't have access to our EHR, then we can practice medicine. It's just kind of like throwing darts in the dark. You don't always know exactly what happened with the patient at the last visit. It's embarrassing to the physicians if they can't get to the record and they have to go in and see somebody and ask them what they did the last time they were in. So it's extremely important at this point in time, now that everything is handled through the computer. I started communicating with the sales representative from the solutions team a few months before we went live with them, and they began to tell me about their data backup program, and we explored that. And then I was actually looking for a solution that would host our whole EHR and also provide IT support, and they told me that they were a new provider with our EHR company. And so we started exploring that as a possibility, and it worked out great. The solutions team provides us our EHR is hosted with them. We have IT support, virtual IT. We also have backup services with them. We utilize their, I don't know what they call the platform name, but we are able to have our Windows applications provided through them in our cloud portal. They also host our QuickBooks application, and they do a couple of other things where we share data files within the office. So everything that we do electronically, they host and manage for us. Before the solutions team, we still used an outsourced IT management company. The biggest change was that we had a server that was hosted inside of our office, and they supported that server remotely. The big change was when we went to the hosted environment, and then we made a change to the solutions team, and they hosted the servers, they managed our Greenway, and they managed our IT. The big thing that happened to us that precipitated the move to the solutions team was that our EHR company came out with a brand new version that was going to require us to upgrade our server. Our server was 2 years old, but its specs didn't match what the new requirements were going to be. So we were looking at either spending over $10,000 on brand new hardware when we had practically new hardware, or we needed to look at a different alternative. At the same time all that was happening, we were looking at opening a satellite office, and it was a perfect time to move to the cloud-based solution. Well, to me, the biggest benefit of the cloud solution is that you can get to your EHR from anywhere. Now, we restrict that so that we can't get to it from anywhere except inside the walls of our practice. That's how we want to do it. But whenever the time comes to open a satellite, or if the physicians need to access their records, or if I need to access the system, it can be done from anywhere. So I really appreciate that. I also like the convenience and the peace of mind of knowing that we've got a backup. And we actually we took a test server and we restored our backup to the test server just to test it, and it was beautiful. It all worked perfectly. So if we ever had a disaster, the unthinkable happens, then we can, as soon as we can get access to the internet and get a computer, then we can get back to our records. So that's fantastic. I had not had any business experience with the cloud. Of course, I grew up with a video game controller in my hand, so as computers have come along, I've stayed right with technology, sort of a technology geek, I guess. So I wasn't afraid of it on a personal level, but had not had business experience with it. But the thing that I began to see we were already, even though we had our server in the closet, we were already internet dependent. If the internet went down, our EHR quit working. We also had a service where we had transcription, and the sound packets traveled from Alabama to New Jersey, and they were transcribed and came back to us, and it just took milliseconds for that to happen. But if the internet went down, that whole process shut down. So we were already familiar with being internet dependent. So moving to the cloud was a great solution for us because we were already dependent on the internet. So hey, yeah, we're putting our database online, but it didn't matter because if the internet went down, if the internet got slow, we were slow anyway. So it's been fantastic. Well, when we transitioned for our EHR provider, we were the very first client that the solutions team had with this EHR company. And it was a big challenge, but what really impressed me was the way that the solutions team handled the challenge. Things did not go smoothly, and normally you wouldn't want somebody to tell you that, but the way that the guys worked during that period of time and the way they communicated with me and the amount of time and energy and effort that they put into that difficult time period was phenomenal. And actually, during that time, what impressed me the most was that they knew more about how to set up our EHR to work in the cloud than our EHR company did. And they gave us more support than our own, than the vendor did, the EHR vendor. So I really grew to respect them and trust their knowledge base, and I just felt like that we were in the best place. I think for administrators, when you're looking at this kind of decision, you're looking at a huge piece of your infrastructure. And whether or not you keep local servers or whether you go to the cloud, it can really be a challenge to make that decision because you don't have a lot to go off of. It's very hard to test that. It's very hard to know what that environment's going to be like. And so people are very reluctant to make any kind of change. And then when they do get ready to make changes, you don't always want to find the cheapest solution that's out there. Just because something's inexpensive certainly doesn't mean it's going to give you the kind of support that you need for your whole business to run and function efficiently. The huge advantage of the cloud is that you've got a DR program built in. You're already internet dependent, so then you stay on the internet and you've got your backups already there, and you can access your EHR from anywhere and from multiple types of systems within your network. So that's tremendous. I love that we can get to our QuickBooks software in the cloud. But what you have to think about is that this piece is foundational to your clinic. And so, don't just choose something that's inexpensive, or don't just choose something that is what the guy down the street tells you. Look for somebody that's got a lot of experience. Look for someone that's provided service to clients for years and years. And what that tells you is you've got somebody that really knows what they're doing, that supports their clients very well, and that will help you make a very good decision about who to hire.